Hello guys, welcome back to IITC channel. This is Ved Prakash Singh from IITC. Today we are going to see a very important subject which is also known as a last layer of protection, that is a PPE, personal protective equipment. I am very sure all of you who are working in the industry, they are using the PPE or they are familiar with PPEs. There are different kind of PPEs, or those who are the students, they may have gone through this subject. So now today we will go through different aspect of PPE. Let us start the session. Guys, my humble request as usual, please subscribe the channel if you have not done so far to receive our regular videos on time to time. And please also share this link to your professional friends who can also be benefited. You can also share this link with your subordinates, with your colleagues who can go through that and can get advantage out of that. This is about me. These are exclusive IITC services. These are key competencies of IITC team on which we provide services to the industry. Guys, now IITC takes privilege to allow you to use this link to train your people, operation team, maintenance team, safety team, construction team, engineering team, procurement team, anybody and everybody who are working in your organization who has to have the knowledge of personal protective equipment. These links can also be used as a safety moment in your organization before training program, before meeting, to make safety first. Guys, we are going to see various points here in this presentation. Hierarchy of control. There are different hierarchy of controls and level of controls, and we will see that what is meaning of personal protective equipment, maintenance and inspection, different type of PPEs for different parts of body like head, eye, ear, face, whole body, respirator, hand and foot, and other things. Guys, I am very sure you might have heard hierarchy of control. You might have heard the name of hierarchy of control, control of hazards and risk. There is one principle called as ERICPD, ERICPD, principle for hazard control. E for elimination of the hazard, or eliminate the hazard at the source. And after, if E is not possible, then go for R, reduce the hazard at minimum possible so that if it realizes there is no consequence, no severity. And if you are not able to do reduce, then go for isolate. Isolate the hazard in the compartmentation like noise. If you have the noise hazard in your company, so that you try to put the noise in one room so that it does not come out of the room and it doesn't affect the hearing loss. If you are not able to isolate, then go for control the hazards by exposure, by other things, and then go for PPE. PPE is personal protective equipment. It is almost last or the last layer of protection. D for discipline, which is very rarely used in case of non-compliance of the system management system. So PPE is the last resource or last layer of protection. This is what we need to focus. We will not discuss EIRC. We will discuss only P here. Guys, as we discussed in the previous slide, Eric PD hierarchy of control slide, the last layer of protection, PPE has to be used as a last layer of protection wherever is possible. And wherever you are not able to use other hierarchy of control, as we mentioned and we discussed in previous slide, we will not repeat it. If there is a confusion, I would request you to go back in the previous slide and try to understand. And if PPE is still needed, then provide the PPE to the worker. As this is the last layer of protection, this should never be in the first place. Ensure following while selection and use of PPE. We must consider these following things while selection and use of PPE. We need to see that who is exposed and to what. who is getting exposed, and he's getting exposed with what? With the H2S, with the dust, with the other pollutants. This we need to know. And secondly, we need to know that how long they are going to be exposed for. So what is the time they are going for exposed? 4 hours or 8 hours? And how much they are going for exposed for? What is the quantity of exposure? What is the TLV for this? So that means these three questions we must need to analyze before providing the PPE if other hierarchy of controls are not applicable. Guys, now we are going for another slide. What we must know: choose good quality products which are CE marked in accordance with the company guideline. Always try to use any PPE which has got CE marked. Why is CE marked? Because CE mark has got some specific production requirement, and it will ensure that quality of PPEs are good. Because this is last layer production, we should not take any risk for last layer of production. Protection. Choose equipment which are suited for wearer. Consider the size, fit, and weight. This we must analyze as a safety officer, as a safety manager, or as a head. That we need to say that the wearer, the person who is going to use it, he has to be comfortable. The reason is he is going to use it and work for the site, work at the site for 1 hour, 2 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours. So he should be comfortable. His size should be okay. It is fit for the purpose, and the weight is correct. It should not be overweight. Like safety shoes, I've seen some safety shoes are so heavy. That means if you are using those shoes, it will probably damage your knee. So we must know, we must ensure that these all PPEs are suitable for wearer, correct for size, fit for the purpose, and correct weight. You can take opinion of users to choose it. They will be more likely to use it. This is very good approach, because you are going to give the PPE anyways. So you need to take the opinion from the wearer so that he will feel privileged and he will be happy to use it. If you don't take their opinion, probably they will not use it. So this is very good opinion. This is very good advice to take the opinion from the user so that they own it and they use it. And your purpose is done. Your work is done. Make sure it fits properly. It is very important, specifically for respirator, because if the respirators are not fit and you have the beard, that means you are using the respirator, but from the side the gas is going inside. In COVID cases, N95 masks are being used, but most of the time people don't know how to make the fit for the purpose, how to fit the respirator to on the face. So ultimately, you are putting the mask or mask on your face, but it is not serving your purpose. You are not protected. So it is difficult to create good seal if respirator users has a beard. Do you agree with me, right? If I have a beard or something, if I am not shaved, so probably if I put the mask and probably there is a leakage from the side and it is not giving the good selling. And if it is not giving the good selling, that means it is as good as not wearing the respirator. For tight fit face pieces, a good seal can only be achieved if the wearer is a clean shave. So if I am a clean shave, so probably when I put the mask on my face, it can get a seal. Otherwise, if you are going to use with a beard, it will never give you the full seal. You are not at safe. You are always at risk. Make sure that if more than one item of PPE is being worn, they can be used together. E.g., a respirator may not give proper protection if air leaks in around the steel because the user is wearing the safety glasses also. This is very important, because I have seen in the industry sometimes I am going in the confined space, I am doing the welding, and in confined space for welding I need to have welding goggles, and I need to also have some respirator to protect myself for toxic vapors. So in that cases I need to ensure that my goggle and my mask are compatible with each other. Otherwise I'm using my goggles and I'm not using my respirator, or I'm using my respirator, I'm not using my goggles. So we as a leader, we as a supervisor, we as a manager need to ensure that my goggles, my mask should be compatible with each other. That means they should not create any hurdle while to be using together. Train people on how to use the PPE. I can tell you, this is very important thing. This is like If I have a Mercedes, I bought a new Mercedes, but I don't know how to drive the Mercedes. This is painful. If I don't know, if I have the mask and I need to use this mask when there is a COVID, when there is a toxic vapor, but I have applied it, but I don't know how to use it. So ultimately, I am creating myself in danger. This is very, very important. We must train the people on how to use the PPE. Tell them why it is needed. You must tell them the importance of the PPE because people feel that they are using PPE for you, for company. No, it is not like that. You are helping them, but probably you are not explaining them. You need to explain them. If you are using the respirator, you can protect yourself, you will not die, your family will be happy, you will go back home safely. When to use it and how? You need to explain them when you are going to use it. You are going to use it when you are going in the plant, when you are going to go in the inside the tank. So you need to tell the correct time of using it, and you must tell what are the limitations of PPE. Sometimes, guys, I have not seen it, touch wood, I have heard that people have died by using the respirator. They died by using, a mask because they do not know how to use it. People have died because of harness because they do not know how to use the full body or half body harness. They took the harness they used by NEV, they went up and they fell down and they died. They could not protect themselves, although they had a world class PPE. So that is why they must be trained what are the limitations of the PPE. Remember that PPE is a last resort but must be worn when needed. This is very important thing, guys, and I believe you also agree with me. Guys, now it is very important segment, the maintenance, because we have got many PPEs, helmet, goggles, face mask, coverall, hand gloves, safety shoes, and many more. But if this is not maintained, let's say, for example, I always love to give example of PPE, that to respirator. If the respirators are not being cleaned on regular basis, if it is not clean from inside, so probably you are using it and that mask is full of dust. So probably you are using it. When you put on the mask on, your face, what will happen? You are creating vacuum inside, and all the dust which is on the inner surface of the mask, it will go inside your lungs. So ultimately, you are creating trouble for you and for your team because there is a poor maintenance and hygiene. It must be cleaned and maintained as per the standard. It must be cleaned and kept in good condition always. Don't wait for the incident to come. Think about always use right replacement part which match the original, like respirator, filter, etc. When you are replacing some parts, always use OEM parts, original equipment manufacturer parts, specifically for respirator. You must not take a chance by to change the chemical cartridge. You must use the right chemical cartridge with the same manufacturer, not other manufacturer, because this is not fit and this is not fit for the purpose. Keeping replacement PPE available. We must keep the inventory of PPEs and always available. Otherwise, this will not serve the purpose. Who is responsible for maintenance and how it is to be done? We need to appoint one person who is a dedicated responsible for maintenance, who is dedicated responsible for cleaning, who is dedicated responsible for PPE, who is a sole person for entire life for PPE. Now, monitor and review. Monitor regularly the compliance of PPE. This is very important segment of PPE implementation because your company has made a beautiful plan that everybody who is going in the plant should have PPE, and you have provided world-class PPEs to everyone because this is a guideline of a company. Now, question is, I am the user. I do not understand the importance of PPE. I do not understand the purpose of PPE. I do not know how to use the PPE. Probably I will go and take everything in hand and I will go in the plant. Will this help you? No, this will not help you. You need to do the regularly compliance, audit, monitoring, and you need to counsel the people on time to time basis. And this will help you how you can take the advantage of last layer of protection. This will give you the satisfaction in your team. This is how you are going to have a confidence and trust in your team. Display safety signage at appropriate location. Sometimes seeing is believing. You must display the appropriate signage for the PPE at different location appropriately. Take note of any changes in the equipment, material, method. You may need to update what you provide. See guys, the relevant example of updating our PPE requirement based on equipment, material and chemical is use of respirator. Use of chemical cartridge respirator. You have respirator with chemical cartridge, but that cartridge is not going to absorb all type of chemicals. This is made for different set of chemicals. Say for example, if I am using a chemical and I have got the cartridge for a chemical, and if I am going to use this respirator, probably I am going to be protected. But if in case company changes, operation changes, chemical A to chemical B, in that case, can my earlier mask protect against chemical B? No, because chemical cartridge has been made for chemical A. And if I am going to use chemical A cartridge, it is not going to protect me from chemical B. Do you understand, right? I hope you understand. Guys, if you have any question related to anything, please request you to put your comments in the comment section of the video so that I can come back to you with the appropriate answer. Now let us go, PPE wise PPE. Now let us start with I. I, the hazards are chemical, splash metal, dust, projectiles, gas, vapor and radiation. These are the hazards for my eyes. So what I need to have? I need to have appropriate glass so that my eyes are protected. For welding point of view, if I am doing the welding, there is an arc. So can my normal goggles give the protection? No, I need to have a specific goggle to protect me against welding arc. PPE safety spectacles, goggles, face screen, face shield and visors. These are to be used to protect our eyes. Note, make sure eye protection chosen has a right combination of impact, dust, splash, multi-metal, eye protection for the task and fits for the purpose. That means whatever spectacles, safety glasses I am going to buy it, that should be effective and appropriate with respective hazard. So like the example what I have given for the welding, head and neck. So what is the hazard? Impact from falling or flying object, risk of head bumping, hair entanglement, chemical drips or splash, climate or temperature. These are the hazards against which I have to protect my head and neck. Correct? PPE, industrial safety helmet, bump cap, hair net and firefighter's helmet. I need to use this kind of PPE to protect myself against this hazard. Note, some safety helmets incorporate or can be fitted with specially designed eye or hearing protection. Don't forget neck protection, e.g. Scarves for use during the welding. Guys, as we discussed earlier that if I am going to use 2 or 3 kind of PPE together, so that means I need to ensure that all the PPEs are compatible with each other. There are helmets available nowadays which is compatible with ear muff and eye goggles. So we need to buy those kind of things. So in one single PPE, everything is attached and I am protected. Note, some helmet incorporates, right, this we have seen it, ears protection, hazard, impact noise, high intensive noise, pitch, high and low frequency, PPE, earplug or earmuffs. These are the very effective tool against protecting the hearing loss in case of high noise more than 85 dBA. Earplugs may be fit into or cover the ear canal to form a shell. Ear muffs are normally hard plastic cup which fits over the surround of the ears. They are sealed to the head by cushion seal, fit only specially designed ear muffs over the safety helmet. See, I need to select the right ear protection, ear plug or ear muff. So ear plug has got their own advantage, ear muff has got their own advantage. So use it appropriately and nicely. Hand and arm, my hand and my arm. So abrasion, temperature extremes, cuts and punctures, impact, chemicals, electrical shock, skin irritation, disease or contamination. These are the hazards against which I need to protect my hand and arm. PPEs, gloves, gloves with a cuff, gauntlet and sheathing with covered parts of or whole arm safety. These are the PPEs for hands and arm. Don't wear gloves when operating a machine such as bench drill machine where the gloves might be a caught. Some material are quickly penetrated by chemicals. Take care in selection. Use skin conditioning cream after work with water or fat solvent barrier. Cream are unreliable and are not suitable for proper PPE. That means this says that we should use our hand gloves and protection carefully. We should not use hand gloves when there is a rotating machine operation because this will catch it and entangle me. So appropriately we need to see that right selection of PP is very important. Some gloves is not impervious, some chemical can go inside. That means if I am using chemical, I need to use right kind of PPE so that chemical does not penetrate the PPE. Guys, now feet and legs. Let us understand what are the hazards. Wet, hot and cold condition, electrostatic buildup, slip and trip, cuts and punctures, falling object, having loads, metal and chemical splash and vehicles. These are the hazards against I need to protect myself and my colleague. So PPE, safety shoes and safety boots are used to protect. The leg and feet with suitable protective caps. We need to ensure that the shoes is light and shoes is suitable for the purpose. Some shoes is not suitable for working in the chemical areas. Some shoes are not so applicable for working it mechanical equipment side. So we need to use the right shoes with lightweight. Note: footwears can have a variety of sole pattern and material to help prevent slip in different conditions. Yes, oil and chemical resistant, anti-static, electrically conductive, thermally insulating. There are variety of style including trainers and the ankle supports. Avoid high-heeled shoes and open sandals. Consider the comfort factor to the wear. So, guys, we need to use the right shoes to protect ourselves against the respective hazard. Lungs. Hazard is oxygen deficient atmosphere, dust, vapor, and toxic gases. PPE. There are various kind of respirators available. Airline respirator, chemical cartridge respirator, BS8. So depending on the type, depending on the hazard type, depending on the worker, depending on the time of work, depending on the toxic vapor. So we need to select the right PPE so that I am not able to I'm not able to increase any toxic vapor inside my lungs. The right type of filter must be used, as such is effective for only limited range of substances. If I am using for chemical cartridge for chemical E, I should not use this for chemical B because this chemical A are different, chemical B is different, and if I am using it, probably I am putting myself in danger situation. Filter have only one limited life. All the filters have limited life. We need to know by the time, by the experience, to change it or do the filter check. Where there is a shortage of oxygen or any other losing consciousness due to the exposure of the high level of harmful fumes, use only breather set. When there is likelihood of less oxygen or some high level of chemical, then we need to use the BS set. We should not believe on the chemical cartridge or chemical mask. Whole body production, whole body hazard, let us understand: heat, cold, bad weather, chemical or metal splash, spray from the pressure leaks or spray guns, contaminated dust, impact or penetration, excessive wear or entanglement of own clothing. These are the typical hazard of the whole body. PP, we should have conventional disposable coverall, overall, boiler suit, apron, chemical suits, thermal clothing. The choice of material includes the fire retardant. Some PPE, some coverall should be fire retardant. It should have anti-static property. Chain mail, chemically impermeable, and high visibility. So we need to understand which kind of clothing we are using. Are we using fire resistant? Are we using impervious? Are we using anti-static? Depending on your requirement, you can select it, you can order it, you can use it, you can maintain it. Emergency equipment. Careful selection, maintenance and regular, realistic operator training is needed for equipment like compressed air, escape breathing set, respirator, and safety rope or harness. Guys, see, sometimes lack of knowledge can kill you and me. So we need to have the right type of selection of the material. We need to maintain the PPE on regular basis. We need to train the people how to use compressed air escape set. Otherwise, people will keep while using the compressed air. They will collapse their lungs with a high pressure. Here is an example of PPE for a case for a chainsaw user. A safety helmet is required because he is a chainsaw user. Replace as recommended by the manufacturer at least every 2 to 3 years replacement. Ear defender, I need to use ear plug ear. I need to use eye protection. I need to have clothing suitable for this one, and fits gloves with protective pad on the back of the hand, left hand, protective for legs, different kind of incorporating loosen woven and long nylon fiber or similar material, and definitely a safety shoes I need to have. Guys, now let us refresh it, rebrush it. Which is correct? Do or die or use or die? There was slogan, no? Do or die. Karo ya maro. But here you say use it or die. Use the PP or die. Do you know you are killing yourself daily due to chemical exposure? Guys, I know that there are few chemicals which are very dangerous, which are slow poison. You never know, you can have leukemia after getting exposure of benzene after 30 years. Do you know this? Getting exposure of any chemicals on which you do not have immediate effect, probably you have a long time effect of 30 years. So you are killing yourself daily basis if you are not using the right respirator. I don't need to answer this question. You can answer this question. Is PPE last layer of protection? I don't know. You can answer. So guys, with this, I again request you. I hope that you have enjoyed this presentation and it was useful for you. Please, my humble request is to subscribe this and send this link to your professional friends who can also benefit it. And I will request you to, there are many programs on our website. Go through that. If you like it, take it. With this, I thank you very much for this program. Have a nice day. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you very much, guys. Have a nice day.